Hey, good morning, everybody. Dr. Bruce Gilroy here with Health Source Chiropractic in Atascocita, Texas. Coming to you on Thursday morning is when I'm recording this, sending it out on the social media platform, sending it out onto our email list. So we're going to give you a quick health tip, fill you in on some details of things happening around the office, and I'll point out a healthy recipe that we're going to be sending to you guys too on the email at least, and it'll probably be put on social media at some point this week too. Anyway, good morning to you. Hope you guys have had a great week. This morning is a gorgeous day. You know, we had some pretty challenging weather last week. It was wet and cold and windy, and cloudy. It just wasn't very fun, and we had a little bit of that this week too. But yesterday and today have turned out to be beautiful. Enjoy it while you can, because the weekend's going to be cold again. So anyway, guys, hope y'all are having a good week. It's Thursday. It is what I call Friday Junior, because we're just about a day away from Friday. And today, you know, a lot of times when I'm on here, because of the stage of life I happen to be in, a lot of times when I'm on here, I talk to you guys about aging well and aging successfully. Very important topics, very important. And I'll continue to coach and preach and encourage and cajole when needed along those lines. Today, though, I was scrolling through some health-related social media stuff, and came across this guy ranting about something I rant about too. At least in my heart, I rant about it. I haven't done it here. And this particular guy was speaking about stop giving your kids cereal. Stop giving your kids apple juice and orange juice and that type of thing. You think it's something healthy because, you know, this is ridiculous, but Honey Nut Cheerios is allowed to put on their box that they are heart healthy or something like that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's nothing but poison. It's sugar. It's just stinking sugar. And I'm gonna tell you something. I graduated chiropractic college 30 years ago plus now. And just 30 years ago, we called type 2 diabetes adult onset diabetes because it happened to adults. Now it's just called plain old diabetes, not because they wanted to change the name, but because kids are getting it left and right. Why are they getting it? Have our genes changed that much in one generation? Absolutely not. What has changed drastically is the way we attempt to nourish our kids and inadvertently end up poisoning them. And they end up with obesity issues, and they end up with blood sugar issues, and they end up with cardiovascular issues, they end up with heart arrhythmias, and they end up with constant colds and allergies and being sick all the stinking time. Yeah, I'm a little passionate about that because we're poisoning our kids. We're poisoning that generation. And people say to me sometimes, I just can't get my kids to eat vegetables. Who's the parent here? Who is the parent here? I got my kids to eat vegetables. Was I just blessed? No, it took some hard work. It took some convincing. It took acting like we were having fun, eating little broccoli spears, calling them trees, until the kids, got to where they could palate it real well and enjoy it and want to eat vegetables. I can remember one time when my daughter was sick, probably in middle school. And I remember thinking, man, we've done some good things here, because she said to me, she was sick and home, and she said, Dad, could you make me a juice or a green smoothie or something like that, something healthy she wanted me to make her. Could you get me a salad, whatever it was, that sort of stuff. Anyway, and we don't just eat vegetables. We do eat vegetables, but we eat plenty of meat too. I eat healthy meat, grass-fed, grass-finished beef, things like that, free-range chicken and chicken eggs. But nonetheless, you can get your kids to eat vegetables. It is not going to be easy, especially if you've already been giving them toxic things filled with sugar, like cornflakes and Honey Nut Cheerios and apple juice and orange juice and grape juice and all those things that sound like they're healthy, but they're really not. And that is exactly that, and the lack of activity and lack of movement that this generation is growing up with, exactly what causes them to be so unhealthy at a young age. Honestly, I have seen in my practice in the last year more young kids with bona fide diagnosed disc issues, meaning bulging or herniated discs. Not because they have significant traumas. They may have had some, like every kid does. They have their bike wipeouts and their falls here and that sort of stuff. But I also think it's just because of their lack of activity. So my whole point today is, folks, let's flip that script. Let's turn that around, and let's start changing the way we raise this next generation. I'm done. I'm not raising kids anymore. I'm out of that line of work. So I'm going to encourage parents, people my age and younger that are raising kids, to do it differently. Stand out from the crowd. You know, someone told me decades ago, if you want something different than what everybody else has, you got to do something different than what everyone else is doing. It's the same thing with your health. If you want to be just like everybody else, sick and dying and not having much life in your years as you get older, keep doing what everybody else does. Don't exercise much. Stress out to the max. Don't take time to refresh your brain. Don't eat healthy foods. Go eat sugar and processed foods and stuff like that. You're guaranteed to head down the road of disease at that point. So let's do something different. Let's do something different. You need help with that? Give us a shout. I can coach you on that sort of stuff, okay? Because I've got the experience behind me and I've got the science behind me. And I hate using that word science because that word's been abused over the last 2 years. And remember, I've said this since 2 years ago. It was about 2 years ago where things started shutting down here in Harris County. The number one thing that should have come out of this whole pandemic issue is the value and the importance of taking better care of ourselves. Unfortunately, our healthcare leaders and our government leaders didn't promote that at all. They promoted close down the businesses. They promoted social distancing, isolation. They promoted masks and injections, vaccinations. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have done any of that. I'm not here to discuss that. I'm just here to say no one talked about getting healthier. No one talked about making this thing stronger so they can fight off whatever comes your way. They missed the boat. We as a culture in this world missed the boat 100%. If you've got young kids, you've got the opportunity to flip that script, and I hope you do. All right, you guys have a great one. Today's Thursday. There's going to be on the email, there's going to be a healthy recipe down below. Last week, I made our great healthy recipe of the week. It was a shrimp dish called, I think it was garlic cauliflower rice and shrimp, and I added some extra things into it, like mushrooms and diced tomatoes and some green peppers, jalapenos and green onions, and it was unbelievable. I brought some up here and reheated it with Stephanie. She loved it. And so if you have not tried that recipe, go get it because it's all made in one pan too. It's made in just a cookie sheet type thing, so it's easy to make. Check that out. I'm not sure what today's recipe of the week is. I have several options again, and I'll get one out there though for sure. And check our social media site if you don't see something you like here, because there's always a new recipe every single week posted on there, usually Thursday or Friday. Have a great one. We're going to be in this afternoon seeing patients from 2:30 until 6. We're ready to see you or your loved ones. And then tomorrow, of course, is Half Day Friday. So shout out us if you need to get in at 281-852-5600. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon.